In 1517, the most powerful man in China issued an official imperial edict. It promoted a brilliant military general named Zhu Shou to a higher rank, awarded him a salary, and praised his outstanding service to the empire. The edict was signed by the emperor. It was also, in every meaningful sense, written by the general. Because General Zhu Shu did not exist, he was an alter ego, a fictional character invented by the Emperor of China so that he could go on military adventures, give himself battlefield promotions, and collect a government salary. And here's the part nobody tells you. The imperial bureaucracy, one of the most sophisticated paper-pushing machines in human history, had to process every single document with straight faces. Picture Beijing in 1505. The Forbidden City, 9,000 rooms, 100,000 servants, walls so thick you could lose a village inside them. At the center of all of it, a 15-year-old boy just became the son of heaven. His name was Zhu Huzhao. History would call him the Zhengde Emperor. His court would call him, very quietly, a problem. The Ming dynasty ran on ritual. Every morning the emperor was supposed to hold court, hear reports, approve documents, and generally behave like a very serious filing cabinet in a dragon robe. Zhengde found this catastrophically boring. He was 15. He wanted tigers. He kept tigers. He built a private zoo inside the Forbidden City and spent imperial funds on wrestling matches and magic shows. His advisors wrote memorials begging him to behave. He ignored them. They wrote more memorials. He also ignored those. One senior official submitted the same complaint 17 times. 17. He got ignored 17 times. Zhengde, meanwhile, was busy building a second palace inside the palace because the first palace felt too formal. But here's what the tutors and the tiger warriors missed. Zhengde wasn't stupid. He was, by most accounts, genuinely intelligent, fluent in several languages, curious about everything, a decent military thinker. He just had absolutely zero interest in being a symbol. He wanted to be a person. Specifically, he wanted to be a general. Which brings us to the greatest bureaucratic crisis in Ming history. Somewhere around 1517, the emperor had a thought. A beautiful, deranged, administratively catastrophic thought. He couldn't just go be a general. Emperors don't do that. But what if, and stay with me here, what if a general went and did it instead? A general named Zhu Shou. Perfect. Issue the orders. The first document landed on the desk of a Ministry of War official. It ordered General Zhu Shou, a name nobody recognized, to take command of border forces in the north. The official looked it up. No record of any General Zhu Shou. He checked again. Nothing. He asked a colleague. The colleague shrugged. He sent a query upward. The query came back with an imperial seal. Apparently General Zhu Shou existed now. The official stamped it through and went home to stare at his ceiling. Imagine you're a mid-level bureaucrat in the Ministry of Revenue. You have processed 10,000 documents in your career. You know every general, every duke, every regional commander by name and rank. Then a salary requisition arrives for someone called Zhu Shou. Rank: General. Posting: Northern Frontier. Your pen hovers over the approval stamp. You look left, you look right. You stamp it. Because the alternative is explaining to the Son of Heaven that his general doesn't exist. And then Zhengde actually went north. In person. In armor. As General Zhu Shu. He rode out with a militansin Tujutra of real troops, and in 1517 fought a genuine engagement against Mongol raiders at a place called Yingzhou. By most accounts, he did. Fine. He was apparently an enthusiastic fighter. The soldiers had no idea their general was also their emperor. Back in Beijing, the court was in organized panic. The emperor was gone north, in disguise, to fight a war under a name he invented. The Grand Secretary sent urgent letters. Your Majesty, the frontier is dangerous. Please return to the capital at once. The reply came back stamped with General Zhu Shou's seal. General Zhu Shou is very busy. He'll pass along the message. The battle at Yingzhou ended. The Mongol raiders were pushed back. And now came the part that broke the Ministry of War's collective brain. General Zhu Shou, having performed admirably in battle, needed to be officially recognized. An after-action report was filed. Commendations were written, and then the recommendation landed. Promote General Zhu Shou. So the Emperor of China sat down, wrote out a promotion order for General Zhu Shou, signed it as Emperor, received it as General Zhu Shou, and filed the paperwork confirming his own acceptance of the honor. Somewhere, a Ministry of Personnel clerk processed this document. That clerk deserves a monument. It didn't stop at one promotion. Over time, General Zhu Shou accumulated ranks. He became a battalion commander, then a senior commander. Then he was awarded the title of Grand Defender of the Realm, one of the highest military honors in the empire. The salary attached to this position was considerable. It was paid to the emperor, who was already the emperor. Think about what this means. The imperial treasury, which the emperor already controlled entirely, was cutting a paycheck to the emperor, routed through a fictional general, processed by real accountants, logged in real ledgers that are still sitting in archives today. Historians found them. The entries are real. Salary dispersed to Zhu Shou, General, Northern Command. Real ink, real paper, real money. Fake man. Now let's talk about the officials. Because these men had dedicated their lives to the Confucian civil service. They had passed brutal examinations, years of study, multiple rounds of testing, the whole machine to earn the right to serve the Son of Heaven. And they were now, in the prime of their careers, being asked to write memos to a man who did not exist. Several officials did try to object. One senior censor submitted a memorial pointing out as diplomatically as possible that General Zhu Shou appeared to be the emperor. He was demoted. Another official raised concerns about the salary disbursements. He was also demoted. A third official wrote a very long, very carefully worded document, essentially asking, "Is this real life?" He was demoted and reassigned to a province so remote it doesn't appear on most maps. The truly remarkable thing is that the system kept working. Documents were filed. Seals were stamped. Salaries were paid. The Ming bureaucracy was so robust, so deeply committed to process, that it successfully administered a fictional person for years without actually breaking down. It just quietly absorbed the absurdity and kept going, like a very dignified man with a spider on his hat who refuses to acknowledge it. And this was not even the only remarkable thing Zhengde was doing. Simultaneously, he had declared himself the abbot of a Buddhist monastery he built inside the palace. He gave himself the monk name Great Qing Hua. He was now, at the same time, the Emperor of China, a Ming dynasty general named Zhu Shou, and a Buddhist abbot. All three were him. Only one paid taxes. He also kept the tigers. There were always the tigers. One of them reportedly mauled a eunuch official. Zhengde paid the man's medical expenses out of General Zhu Shou's salary, presumably. We don't actually know that last part, but it feels accurate. So how much of this is documented, and how much is legend? For once, almost all of it is documented. The alter ego of Zhu Shou, confirmed in Ming Shi Lu, the official veritable records of the Ming dynasty. These are the court's own records, kept by imperial historians whose job was to write down what actually happened. The Battle of Yingzhou, real and recorded. The self-promotions and salary disbursements, documented. The officials who objected and were demoted, documented by name. Historians who study the Ming dynasty describe the Zhengde Emperor as one of history's best documented cases of a ruler simply refusing to be a ruler. The records are so complete that scholars can trace individual documents as they moved through the system signed by the emperor, addressed to himself. The tiger mauling, mentioned in sources but details vary. The Buddhist abbot identity, real. The extent of the salary, how much, how often, historians are still piecing together. But the core of it? Undeniable. The man invented himself a second self, fed that self through the machinery of one of the world's great empires, and the machinery processed him without blinking. That's not legend. That's just Tuesday in Ming China. So the next time you feel trapped in a job that won't let you be who you really are, remember the Emperor of China. He didn't quit. He didn't complain. He invented a whole second person, put that person on the payroll, gave him a military career, and lived both lives simultaneously. Is it insane? Absolutely. Is it also, somehow, the most relatable thing a ruler has ever done? I'm going to let you sit with that. Next time on Throne of Fools. The Ottoman Sultan whose inbox rejected Leonardo da Vinci and, if the legend is true, Christopher Columbus too. Subscribe. History is just getting started being ridiculous.